Hey guys, this is Miss Russell. This is lesson number 1 that I included in your packet on rational expressions. Just want to let you know that I miss you and I won't be going just super slow with you. So if you need to shoot me an email or anything like that, again, you can always go back and rewatch whatever it might be. At any time, pause. If I tell you, try to work it out, and then I'm going to work it out for you or give you the answer. So hope you're all doing great, and don't lose your math skills that we have learned this year. So a little bit on rational expressions. A rational expression is a ratio of two polynomial expressions. It says to simplify a rational expression, factor everything that can be factored, simplify the binomials, use the exponent rules, eliminate common binomial factors. So on the first one, we just have binomials, okay? We're going to apply just some things that we know about dividing and our exponent rules. Simplify the constants, 20 divided by 14. 2 will go into both of those. 2 goes into 20 10 times. 2 goes into 14 17 times. Now, whenever you are dividing, you need to subtract your exponents, okay? So 6 minus 2 would leave us with x to the 4th. And that is our answer for number 1. Number 2, okay, it is not a binomial because we have 2 things up top and 2 things on the bottom. So if we go back up here, it says factor everything that can be factored. Hopefully y'all have been practicing those factoring sheets I've been sending you. On the top, that would be your GCF. I'll try to leave you some little comments on here. GCF, we can pull out a 6, and we would be left with k minus 6. The bottom can't be factored. We leave it k minus 6. So what's going to happen here on these rational expressions? When you start factoring things, you're going to be able to cancel out. All right, how we have a k minus 6 up top and a k minus 6 on the bottom, we can cancel those out and equal 6, or get 6 for our final answer there. All right, number 3, we can't simplify y plus 8, but on the bottom, that is a trinomial. So just a little quick review. What would multiply to give us negative 48 and add to give us 2. All right, so the signs have to be different. I'm going to leave the y plus 8 up top. I will say the nice thing about these is they will factor really nicely. You're not going to have anything crazy. They are nice on their factoring. So negative 8 and a positive, actually be a positive 8, wouldn't it? And a negative 6, sorry about that, would give us that positive 2. So we would have y plus 8 and y minus 6. And there we have it, y plus 8 and a y plus 8. Those will cancel. Now, if everything goes away up top, you want to leave that as a 1. And then I'm going to carry over the y minus 6. This is, Coach Aldridge asked me to do this one as far as factoring and then knowing how to cross those out, simplify those out, or cancel them out for Algebra 3. So if you're going to take Algebra 3, and I know a lot of you are, make sure that you are up on your factoring trinomials or GCF or whatever. Number 4, I would pull out a 2, okay, from the get-go there. And on the bottom, I would, or denominator, I would pull out an 8. Okay, now we can still factor that trinomial up top. What multiplies to equal negative 20 and adds to equal negative 1. That would be negative 5 and a positive 4. And one thing I want to tell you guys on, if you notice kind of what's happening here, if you ever get stuck with your signs, look at what already looks like would be a factor, and that'll kind of help lead you in the right direction if you were to get completely stuck. So that would be r minus 5, r plus 4. Then I have an 8 and r plus 4 still on the bottom. Then I'm going to clean it up. The r plus 4s would cancel. Okay. 2 and 8 would simplify down. 2 goes into 2 one time. 2 goes into 8 4 times. So my final answer would look like r minus 5 over 4. R minus 5 over 4. Okay. Number 5. I almost want to say y'all have any questions, but I can't do that. Number 5, this is a difference of squares, okay? I mean, you got 2 terms. Both of those are perfect square roots. That factors into p plus 7, p minus 7. Now, the bottom does not. It is what it is. This says, watch out. So if you notice, it says a minus b and b minus a, okay? Anytime you get that, because it's really close. If you notice here, we got p minus 7 and 7 minus p. Well, some people just want to cancel those out, but they're not the exact same. This p's positive, that one's negative, that 7's negative, this 7's positive. So right here, if you ever notice that, you cancel it out, but you have to replace it with a negative 1, okay? So we can cancel them out and then just put a negative 1 up top. So what we have left is negative 1, p plus 7. And then if you want to clean that up and distribute that, be negative p minus 7. Negative p minus 7. All right, number 6, it's not trinomial. Looks like we have some GCFs on that. We could pull out a 3a. So I'd have 4a squared minus 1. And then on the bottom, I could pull out 6a squared and have 2a plus 1. Now notice nothing really matches up. Right here, that is a difference of squares. Okay, so we can factor it a little bit more. Carry over the 3a. Difference of squares. What is the square root of 4? 2. What's the square root of a squared? A. Plus, what's the square root of 1? 1. Then it's the same thing except we put the minus sign. Then carry over the 6a squared and the 2a plus 1. So now we're going to, it's almost like Fruit Ninja. You get to slash things out of there. I'm sure y'all played that. All right, 3 and 6 will reduce. 3 goes into 3 once. 3 goes into 6 2 times. Now on our a's, we can cancel this a, but we can take 1 away from the 2. All right, think of it like this. Let me get another pen. That's just 1, but down here we had 2, right? So we're able to mark out that one. So we have that 1 left in the bottom. So up top, I have 2a minus 1. Since that was a positive 1 doesn't change anything. Then I still have 2a. Now, what you cannot do is Fruit Ninja that, okay? You can't do that. It's almost like when you slice the bombs or whatever and blows up. You can't do it, okay? The reason we can do these, these are like little sets and they're all being multiplied, okay? These are not. That 2a has that minus 1. Now, if this was like had some parentheses or something, you could, but everything has to be factored out for you to slice it out of there, okay? This is not. You have to leave it at that. Make sure and don't keep going. Think you can keep going. Okay, on number 7, and guess what I'm going to do to kind of speed things up? I'm going to factor these because we should be pretty good on our factoring. And I don't want these videos to take super long. It is Algebra 2, and sometimes they are a little lengthier. So on that top part, guys, after that GCF, that would not factor anymore, and that's okay, all right? The GCF here, and then that was a difference of squares. So all I did was GCF, okay, and then I did another GCF, and this one would keep going with the difference of squares. That's an S, I'm so sorry. And then we can slice what we can. This will factor. I'll have to go back. We can go ahead and get those 2's out of there. This will factor. Now they'll look at it. It will factor into 3n plus 1, n plus 1. Then you got your n plus 1 and your n minus 1. And there they go. So that answer, 3n plus 1 and n minus 1. That one's really sloppy. Again, I'm just going to factor these. Y'all can go back. You can pause and try to factor if you want. So y'all can. Now, this is where we did factor by grouping. Okay, so go back and look at those notes. Now, notice right here, these are those opposites. So I'm going to have to mark that out and put a -1 up top. So that would give me -5 and then 3w minus 1. Okay. All right. On the next page, it says multiplying rational expressions. And these were still, it's basically what we were doing. Not much different, okay? Nothing much too different. Binomials only, you can multiply them together, then simplify. Binomials or trinomials, you want to factor everything you can first and then simplify. So all these are binomials because there's no adding or subtraction signs in there. So when you multiply fractions, how do you multiply fractions? You multiply straight across. Multiply straight across. There are multiple ways to do these. If y'all were in here, I'd probably tell you, I'm just going to stick with one way so I won't confuse anybody. So 6 times 10 will give us 60. All right, when you're multiplying, you want to add your exponents, okay? When you're multiplying, put that over there. When you're multiplying, you want to add your exponents. Let's do like a little star. So x squared times x cubed would be x to the 5th. 3 plus 4 would give us 7. 2 times 18 is 36. All right, I don't have any x's here, so I'm just going to carry that over. And then 2 plus 2 would be y to the 4th. Okay, then simplify. What goes into 60 and 36? 12. I knew 6 went into it. I had to think there for a minute, guys. 12 goes into 60 5 times, and 12 goes into 36 3 times. Okay. Now, when you are dividing, you subtract your exponents. All right. So 5 minus 2 is 3. 7 minus 4 is 3 also. If you want to pause and try number 10, I'm going to give you that answer. When you multiply straight across, 20a to the 5th, b to the 8th, 180, a to the 5th, b to the 10th. All right. 20 divided by 180 gives you 1/9. Now, a to the 5th and a to the 5th, those go away. Now, if you notice here, the higher number's on the bottom, okay? You can still subtract those, just a little shortcut. You can still subtract, but wherever that higher number is, that's where you need to leave it. All right, so since 10 minus 8 is 2, but since the 10's on the bottom, I need to leave that 2 on the bottom. Right, and then number 11, I may just do it. I know we're almost at 15 minutes. These are not binomials. They're binomials and trinomials, so we need to factor everything. So it kind of combines what we did on the front side with this side. So I'm going to do the GCF. This would be just factoring. I'm going to do the GCF, and then when you factor that trinomial, just to save time, this is what you would get. That would just be a trinomial. then that would be our GCF. Okay, then we're going to ninja slice. All right, on the ninja slice, you can go diagonal or vertical. Okay, you can't go horizontal. Like if they're on the same thing in the numerator, you can't cross those out. You can slice this way or this way. All right, diagonal or vertical, no horizontal. So what I like to do is kind of match. Do I have any matches? I do. There's a 4x and there's a 4x. So slice that out. X minus 1, x minus 1, x plus 3, x plus 3. Now, don't let your eyes play tricks on you. That's a minus 2, that's a plus 2. This is not the -1 thing because the x's are the same. All right? So that looks like all that I can slice out of there. Once you do that, look across. What do you have left? X minus 2. Then on the bottom, I have 2 times x plus 2. And we can leave it that way. Okay. Number 12. When you factor between GCF and trinomials, this is, and guys, I know on the Miss Wilkins has some factoring videos, okay? And I included some of her note pages for you in your packets. If you need to go back and watch some of her videos on factoring, do that. But if I re-explain factoring on every one of these, it's gonna be like a 40-minute video. So that is why go back and look over your factoring notes. I know it's been a while and I'm very sorry. I hope you've all enjoyed staying home. I know you have. Any normal kid probably would. All right, I'm gonna ninja slice. Now this is close. -e, +2, -2. So that's where I'm gonna slice them and put -1 up top. The V's will go, and then I can do the 5 and 15. Okay, 5 goes into 5 one time, and 5 goes into 15 3 times. And I'm gonna write what's left. I got -1. Then I still have the V plus 1. And then down here, all I have is that 3. You can distribute that -1 if you want. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Then dividing, and I'm not gonna do all these dividing, okay? I might even do both of these first two. One step, okay? One simple step that you learn in 6th, 7th grade, and then you're back to what we just did on the multiplying. So that's why. To divide rational expressions, multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, reciprocal means you just flip it, right? Flip it. You flip it. Remember when you had to divide fractions, some of you learned like the KFC method, okay? You learned KFC. Now, I never taught the KFC method. I always said keep, change, flip, okay? You keep the first fraction, like you keep it just the way it is. So I'm just gonna rewrite. I kept it. There we go. You change the sign. All right, so it goes from dividing to multiplication. So I'm going to bring down the dot, just like it looks on 9 through 12. And then you flip the second fraction. That's that reciprocal that we just wrote in there. So I'm going to flip it. Okay. Guys, this right here looks not just like number 9, but the same layout as number 9. Okay, we would go multiply straight across, and I'm just going to give you the answer. Because I know some of you in class, you would probably already be going through that. But that is what you should get. So go back and check. Number 14, same thing. I'm going to kind of write what you would get after you had to factor to help some of you out there. So my first fraction, that's it factor, change division to multiplication. I'm going to flip, and when you flip and factor, this is what you would get. All right, then you would ninja slice 5/4x. Okay. Now on 16, I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you the answer to 15. And then show you on 16 because it has 3. It's going to be like, oh goodness, you're just fine. That's your answer for 15. All right, on 16, here's your dividing part. So I'm going to keep, change, flip. Now guys, it's not a fraction. We can make it a fraction, and then when you flip that, that's what it would look like. Since none of that needs to be factored, I'm going to factor that. That is a difference of squares. Okay, 4k plus 1, 4k minus 1, k plus 3. Oops. It'll be all right. I know it's not in parentheses, but it's fine. And then you ninja slice all that. Okay, k plus 3, 4k plus 1, and that looks like it. So I would have 4k minus 1 up top because that positive one's not going to change anything. And then on the bottom, all I have is that k. Again, you can't mark those out because those aren't factors. Okay, it has a little adding and subtraction sign on it. I know that one's kind of long, and I'm sorry. But I think I have a total of 5 videos that I'm going to do for you. I asked Coach Aldridge a few things he'd like for me to cover, and he gave me some. I'll try to be as quick as I can with them, but if you have any questions, guys, then just shoot me an email and ask, and I'll do the best I can. Y'all have a great day. Thanks for watching.